Is it just me, or do you feel like you already know these characters? Like they're already part of your friends or family? Great show, another solid episode. Gossip Girl Episode 6 was the mid-season finale. The second half of Season 1 cannot come soon enough. Let's recap the episode and go over the ending and the cliffhangers, starting with Max and Rafa. We had already begun to see this, but now we know for sure. Rafa is trash. Max broke it off with Rafa in the prior episode, but Rafa did not get the point, so he kept blowing up Max's phone. Max ignored Rafa's text and even blocked him, but Rafa still did not get the point. Instead of reassessing his relationship with Max, and more importantly, instead of reassessing his terrible lifestyle choices over the past few years, Rafa weaseled his way into the Gossip Girl group and gave them a tip. Gossip Girl posted that Max has STIs or infections. Then, after Max went over to Rafa's and turned him down once more, Rafa went out for drinks with Max's father Roy, and later he invited Roy over off screen. Roy told Max that they didn't hook up, but who knows, and either way, it was so wrong to hang out with Roy, considering what Max's fathers are currently going through, and Rafa knows about that. Rafa is vengeful and heartless, but he's messing with the wrong kid. Max sent Gossip Girl a video of him and Rafa hopping on the good foot and doing the bad thing. Rafa deleted that private message, but the other Gossip Girlers saw it. However, they don't know if Rafa knows that they saw the message or not. Max's other subplot was brighter, the love triangle subplot. Rafa had accused Max of having infections, which may or may not be true, but Audrey's mom did have sepsis, which is brought on by infections. All of Audrey's friends, minus Monet, were and are there for her, but mainly Ak and Max. They are her rocks, her two men. During the dinner, Audrey called out Ak's father, Roger Menzies, since his publishing company had put out numerous articles on her mother's business. The conversation transitioned to an LGBTQ discrimination lawsuit that Roger's business is facing, and accidentally, Audrey let the cat out of the bag. She implied that Aki is not straight. Without even speaking to Aki about it, without even knowing the truth, Roger outed Aki to the press. It was such a self-serving thing to do. Roger is trash. But Aki took it on the chin like it was nothing, and he clarified to the press that he is not gay, he's bi. Earlier in the season, Audrey had complained about having to cook for her mother, but she leveraged those skills to cook a thank you dinner for her two men. This love triangle is very untraditional, but since the three of them all love each other, this is great news in the short term. However, polyamorous relationships are complex, so they'd be mindful to tread carefully. And even two-person relationships are complex, as we saw with Kate and Nick. Kate came over to mentor Zoya again, and afterwards, she stayed for a date with Nick. Technically, they already had a date on Halloween, but it was very cool that we got to see that awkward butterfly in the stomach type moment when the mentoring ended and the date began. Nick and Kate are so cute together, but Jordan is a jealous and selfish friend. Just as Jordan creeped on Zoya and Obi earlier in the season, he creeped on Kate and Nick. He posted a picture of them to Gossip Girl and somehow convinced Kate to send Nick a text saying that they should keep it professional. Boo Jordan. We know that Nick has been keeping his eye on Gossip Girl, so it's safe to assume that he saw that post of him and Kate. When Season 1 picks back up, it will be interesting to see if Nick responded to Kate, and if so, what he said. Will Nick fight for her? And of course, what will happen when he finds out that Kate is part of Gossip Girl? And last but not least, we've got the other love triangle, Zoya, Obi, and Jules. Many of you criticized Obi for moving on from Jules to Zoya too fast in the comment section of earlier videos. And you were right. We now know that Obi moved on despite still having feelings for Jules. The episode began with Zoya and Obi both writing messages, but not sending since they had been having issues over the last couple episodes. They had been growing apart. At school, Jules told Obi that she was reassessing the bigger picture in order to invest in her future, and that impressed him. Meanwhile, Obi has kept Zoya a secret from his mother, and he also kept his mother's arrival to town and their planned dinner a secret from Zoya. But Jules encouraged Zoya to introduce herself to Obi's mother, since that's what Jules had done. Afterwards, Helena invited Zoya to dinner, and Zoya spoke out about issues that Obi has claimed to care about. And he does. But Zoya's conversation points created a rift between Zoya and Obi's mother, and in turn, Zoya's conversation points widened the growing rift between Zoya and Obi. Zoya and Jules both critiqued Obi for his subservience to his mother. So Obi went to the protest against Roger and his mother's business venture, and both Jules and Zoya went there to support him. Jules got there first, Then Zoya arrived, got jealous, and left. But not before Jules admitted to Zoya that she still loves Obi. Jules' brand sponsor, Sephora, called her and told her to leave the protest. But Jules stayed. The cops came, things got heated, and Jules and Obi were swept away in the passion of the event, the passion of their past, and possibly their future. But things are not always as they seem. It turns out that Nick and Marion's relationship was not just some random fling. Nick and Marion go back. They had been friends since public school. And there are other things that may not be as they seem. For instance, Roy told Max that he went over to Rafa's, but that they did not hook up. But is that true? Did Roy really resist Rafa's good looks and his charm? It's also worth noting that the protest was about housing as a human right. So it begs the question, will Zoya and Nick be evicted since her grandmother does not live with them? Or is that plot point done with? And last but not least, Roger called Aki and told him to stay away from Jules for a little bit. At face value, we were led to believe that it has something to do with Jules staying at the protests. But that is one more thing that may not be as it seems. There may be more to it. In case you missed it, during the dinner, Zoya called out Roger for wiretapping.
Plus all the wiretapping.
So it begs the question, did Roger wiretap Jules or her father? And if so, what did he find out? Or maybe he stole data about Jules off of someone's phone when his employees collected the phones before dinner. I may be overthinking it, but that's all I got. Like many of you, I just want to say thank you to everyone involved in this production, and thank you to all of you who have been hanging out and chatting each week. For better and worse, time flies. So the rest of Season 1 will be here before we know it. Until then, I'll catch you on the flip side.